Hello everybody, just want to do a quick unboxing video here from something I got from Cool Mini or Not. Now, I bought this item thinking it would be good. Instead of using the Chinese Tupperware that I get for Chinese food, I figured I'd get something maybe a little bit nicer than that. So I purchased the premium wet palette. As you can see, it is quite sizable. Most of us probably have this much room for painting, nevertheless a wet palette to be there. So not quite the ideal item for myself. I don't know about you guys to have. It is just slightly over. Oh. It's just slightly over. (16.5), almost 17 inches. And width and height, it is a little bit more than a foot. A little bit over a foot and a half. So it's 12 3/4, 17 3/4 wide. And then the depth of it itself is 1 3/4 inches. And they like the 3/4, huh? So my only main issue with it is the size. But let's go ahead and break in here. I figured I'd buy the premium one. It came with everything you needed. I did not think the thing was going to be a monster. Kind of makes me regret buying it. But let's do a true unboxing of it. The price for it, for how big it is very reasonable. So that's something positive to say, right? That's a nice little colorful thing right here. Tells you what comes in it. Nice fancy red plastic top that seems very durable. Definitely a good seal. It's not very easy to pull the lid off. So you know no air is going to get in there. You're not going to have a problem with paint drying out. Little nipples on there. Little instruction guide on how to set up your palette and use it, and some helpful hints. Some quick tips. Always big, clear, empty thing, nothing fancy in there. The sponge that it comes with, quite yellow. And then the palette paper. Not much to write home about, but it comes with it. So that is the wet palette. If you wanted something that you could use for your miniatures, or if a small little clamshell case like this from Reaper, because you can use the inside to make a wet palette, or GW ones just aren't big enough, well, this might be the right way to go if you got the room for it. If you do also professional painting, this can be used for acrylic and oil paints. So this isn't just an acrylic paint only wet palette. If you do decide to use oil paints in this, you have to get the oil paint palette paper. Well, yeah, with the way this seals, you're definitely not going to have a problem with air getting in this bad boy and drying out your paints. Your paint will definitely stay good in here for a good while. So for the amount of money I paid for this item, definitely worth it. the size, only thing that really kind of detracts from it, I do have the space where I could make this very feasible. Other nice thing is you can do a lot more color blending on this wet palette because you have the room for it compared to the smaller ones. Like when I use the Reaper blisters, I really didn't have a whole lot of room to kind of blend out paints, you know, and kind of off to the side and kind of make it the more to the right it goes, the more blended it is. Didn't really have a lot of that room for that. So you could definitely do that with this very easily, which is very nice. If you're doing a lot of colors, let's say you're doing a bunch of army and you're doing the bases and everything all at one time, then this palette would obviously be a great way to save those paints and have them at the ready at your disposal. If you're like me where you have to come back and kind of touch up some places where you make a little bit of mess to make it look nicer, then this would also be good because then those paints stay in here. They stay nice and wet and fresh so that when you come back, grab that color and then fix where you kind of made a little itty bitty boo-boo, it's ready to go. Oh no, I say it's worth the money. It's definitely worth the investment if you have the space for it. If this item is particularly the size in which you're painting on area that you have, I don't think you're going to want to keep pulling the top off and painting. That is your personal call. I mean, there's enough room here that you could do the palette and, you know, do the miniature on this and then kind of set it down in there. There's nothing wrong with that. That would definitely work. So, you've been warned. So if you see this in Cool Mini Knot and you go, wow, that's a good price for a wet palette, it is for the size. Just make sure you got the room for it. Happy wargaming, everybody.